hand on Friday. His hand today is black. So whatever this is, I'm telling you, I don't know if I probably, I'm always taking screenshots. His hand is black today. So I don't know if it's just rotten. No, like black. Oh, you're saying that's makeup? That's terrible makeup. Don't do your own. Who is Jesus, get a makeup artist. If that's makeup, please, Trump, let somebody else blend get a real color that matches you. I really hope that's not makeup, but that was him a couple of days ago. And if you've seen his hand without makeup, it is kind of like a yellowish growth. And today, whatever happened, it's all the blood vessels in his hand and arm broke. It's actually kind of scary. But you're right, that is makeup. But can it's rumored Trump's face, it's not like someone's doing that. He does his own face, obviously. That's why one ear is orange and one ear is white. His eyes are like a rip. But he really should. There's got to be some hot makeup artist you'll let do your makeup so you don't look like this. We have too many things in Hollywood that could make you look normal. We're watching you rot. We are watching our president rot. Joe Biden, remember when they're like, why is he at the beach? Yeah, because he could pop his shirt off. Because he's a normal, and ride a bike. We're watching our president, rot from the inside out. It's I feel we need to demand he get a makeup artist to cover this up. For the interest of national security, we should not be letting him rot publicly for everyone watches. That's why they used to prop FDR up. He had polio, he could not stand. They had a stand they would bring. It was a metal pole they would strap him to so he could stand up and give speeches because they were worried that if America appeared weak, that, we'd be taken advantage of. So why don't we, I'm just saying, it might be time to get a real makeup artist to make Trump look better. And can we do something about his leg that's not working? What is science worth if we can't fix our president's weird leg? What is happening? Hold on, sorry. I'm just trying to go back to the clip. Oh my God. Oh, just kidding. I'm so sorry. Sorry. You guys can't even see what I'm I can't hear it. You guys can't even see it. Sorry about that.
Very slim, very hot, very sculpted ankles, juxtaposed to Kanks's cankles. And that stuff just sends him into orbit because he cannot be exposed if you just scratch the slightest bit of a narcissist surface underneath, and especially with Kanks. It's just this boiling, festering, evil insecurity that just comes lashing out. So the fact that he's going after MSNBC after they did a story on him intentionally hiding the cankles, it's true. Okay. And then that's just the physical decline, you guys. Now I want to segue over to the mental decline. Here's Kanks talking to a radio show host. And this is yesterday about his plans for yesterday evening. Play the audio.
I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your lots of listeners. You have a great show. You have a very successful show, by the way, in case you haven't heard that. But I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police, and with the military, of course. So we're going to do a job. The National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic job.
Okay, here's the sitting convicted felon, Kankles McTaco Tits, calling into radio shows when we have all of these geopolitical issues. The markets are collapsing. And he's saying that he is going to go patrol the streets of Washington, D.C. with the police and the military and the National Guard.
Well, and what an exercise in stupidity all the way around. First of all, I hate the president of the United States calling in on these dipshit radio shows. The president of the United States should be solving problems, but he can't solve problems because he's too compromised mentally. And for him to go out and make this show, he looks like the biggest dumbass I've ever seen in my life. And people hate him in D.C.
Well, and the larger narrative that I'm trying to get at here is the mental decline of this.
Absolutely.
To call in, he knows, or does he know, But a sitting president of the United States would know, and this is his second term, would be abundantly aware that he would not be able to go out in Washington, D.C. on police patrols. He would know that he couldn't do that, that would be a national security risk. But it appears to me that he doesn't know that. And so we have just day after day piecing together massive dementia and cognitive decline that is not above the fold, that is not in the lead of legacy media. This is something that if Joe Biden were calling in to some radio station, rambling about going out in a squad car, playing, I guess they're all about cosplaying cops and going out and arresting people, they would go bananas. And this is just largely unnoticed. It's just Trump being Trump. And the mass cover up of his supporters, the people surrounding him at the White House, legacy media that are actively covering up this man's cognitive decline is something I think that will be studied forever, especially on the foothills of Jake Tapper, right? His book about Biden. And listen, there's no question Biden was old. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. You could tell he had aged, but it wasn't this crazy shit. No. We're not patrolling the roof of the White House talking about putting nukes on it. We're not talking about Hannibal Lecter. We're not giving microphones blowjobs. I mean, this guy just gets crazier and crazier. And so it's super important in this vein, you guys, as we keep an eye on what is going on with Kanks, we have to make sure that we are properly vetting our
Baby Tipper .2. Welch is really a nut job. You can't spell. I'm going to guess you're saying nut job, but you just don't have the gift of spelling. Hold on, I'll invite you up to explain why. And here's what happened. Oh, you're not allowed to come up. Here's how it would work. In order to make a claim, which that's just ad hominem in your opinion, you would have to prove that one thing she said was factually untrue. Every single thing she said happened. All of that is true. All of those are things you guys said about Biden. Like, hold your guy accountable. Biden did good for this country. Biden lowered the deficit while Trump blew it out. I mean, you're saying that she's wrong. Every word she said is factually true. You're just emotional about it. Like, that's what I think that's what I'm trying to get MAGA to see. Nothing, you guys don't know any facts. You're just mad when people are like, hey, it's really crazy for the president of the United States to alert the entire world to be like, hey, I'm going to be here busting up brown people who are contributing to the economy and they have your money. Even though we know mathematically I robbed you and and corporations and billionaires have your money, I'm still trying to pretend like immigrants are doing something wrong. Like, if you think that she is wrong, you're an idiot. That's the point. Like, if you show up in this live and you're like, oh, that woman is, the point is you are wrong. I'm trying to challenge you to learn something. You are wrong. God, what is wrong with insecure idiot MAGA men? You're on a supercomputer typing idiot things. Like, I have this deep need in me to like do research and to understand what's going on. Why don't men have that same need? Why are you guys so dumb? It's terrifying. You guys have no idea what's going on. And we all have to like sit here and listen to you be dumb. And you're like, nailed it. No, you guys have never nailed. You guys are literally dumber than a doornail. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. The idiocy knows no bounds at this point. That's where we are with you. And like, I always talk about mathematical arguments of how dumb MAGA is. Like, here's another example of how dumb Trump is. Like, it's so fascinating. Like, mathematically, Trump should not get rid of mail-in ballots. It will be the nail in his coffin.
Voting nationwide, despite the fact that he has no real constitutional authority to do so, at least according to most major scholars. I think it's really important to point out that one of the big reasons why Donald Trump won in 2024 was because of an improvement with mail-in voting. Indeed, his improvement was so big that without his mail-in voting bump, he would have actually lost in 2024. What am I talking about here? Okay, Trump's margin 2024 versus 2020. Among mail-in voters, get this, He did 9 points better. He did 9 points better in 2024 compared to 2020. Among in-person voters, get this, he did actually 5 points worse. He did 5 points worse. Therefore, the only reason that Donald Trump won in 2024 was because he did better with mail-in voting than he did back in 2020. Now, this, I think, is the really important thing when it comes to the Trump-Republican coalition. They do better among voters of color. They do better among lower education levels, right? They do better among younger voters, all who have a lower propensity to turn out. Therefore, Donald Trump should try to be expanding the voting universe. Indeed, take a look at this statistic right here. Trump's 2024 presidential win. If all citizens voted, get this, his margin would have actually increased by 1 to 3 points, according to most studies. I went back and I looked at every single election I could, studied every single one. He is the first Republican nominee for president on record that I could find that would actually benefit from universal voting. That is, if every citizen or every eligible citizen voted. Donald Trump should be trying to get
That's why, and this is the irony, like, you have to be smart enough. And I want to say this, like, Loris is not supporting Trump. Dawn Citrus, stop arguing in the comments with Loris. She does not support Trump. She's from Finland and she has never supported Trump in her life. So I think, like, there might be a misunderstanding there, and you don't need to keep going back and forth about that. Loris does not support Donald Trump. It's the exact. She's literally in a country that borders Russia. She definitely does not support Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think, like, there's just a confusion about what's happening here. Okay. Yeah, she's the most anti-Trump person probably in the comments. Like, I think you're arguing with someone that is. Yeah, I think there's a big confusion going in the comments. Let's not fight people. She's literally in Finland. She's the last person in these comments to ever support Donald Trump about anything, including SA. Like, it is insane, right? That this man, which you can find in as someone that watched every Trump rally leading up to the 2024 election. He's like, vote mail-in, he supported mail-in ballots then. And I always talk into this whenever they were trying to say, distract from the fact Trump is a child trafficker in the Epstein files. They were like, oh, Obama's he committed treason. Here's 160 pages that proves it. And I read those pages, and that was about the safety and security of our cyber elections. As well as safety and security of voting machines, of mail-in voting, all sorts of things to prove that. I guess their point was that, like, Putin didn't break into voting machines or actually change the vote numbers, which no one ever said he did. But it can't be both. Like, this guy won mathematically because of mail-in voting, and now he's like, let's shut down mail-in voting for the midterms. Think about what that is, right? This guy, the only way he ever won is mail-in voting, and now he wants mail-in voting to be stopped because they ran a bunch of statistical analysis, and the fewer people, the fewer votes, the better chance of Republicans winning. This is like the biggest voter suppression, gerrymandering cry for help I've ever seen.
Polls to the polls, not trying to limit their options. Indeed, if you think about history, right, you think about mail-in voting, there's no reason to believe that it has to lean one way or the other, politically speaking. Indeed, go back to the 2000 election, right? How Bush won Florida in 2000 and therefore the election. Remember, that election was decided by only 537 votes. There was a big Republican drive led by George W. Bush, the Republican nominee for president's brother, Jeb Bush, who in fact, of course, was the governor of Florida. And Bush said, vote from the comfort of your home. Indeed, that's what a lot of Republicans did. Get this. Among mail-in votes, get this. George W. Bush won by about 125,000 votes. That was able to barely, and I mean barely, overcome Al Gore's lead on Election Day in-person votes of about 124,000. what a difference history would have made if, in fact, there was not this Republican push for mail-in votes back in 2000. You might have ended up with Al Gore winning the state of Florida. In fact, I pretty much guarantee it. And more than that, you would have ended up with such a different history, because Al Gore winning in Florida meant he would have won the election, would have meant we would not have had George W. Bush as the president, the 43rd president of the United States, and who knows what might have happened. But the bottom line takeaway from this is Donald Trump is actually probably hurting himself by trying to move Republicans away from mail-in votes. There's no reason to believe that mail-in votes have to lean one way or the other politically, and Donald Trump would in fact benefit from greater turnout, much unlike the traditional Republican candidate.
I say I don't disagree with that statistical analysis, but I do. There's a larger statistical analysis going on in the country. It was when Hillary Clinton ran against Trump. It's the same reason, like that same argument was made. Why would you why would Republicans stop, or conservatives want to stop every woman from voting? What about all the women that vote conservative? It's because when Hillary Clinton ran against Trump, they did a ton of statistical analysis, and they determined that if we just stop women from voting, which they're not going to repeal the 19th Amendment, right? That's a very hard thing to do, and a lot of people would have a problem with that. But if they make it as hard as possible, which is what this SAVE Act does, right? If they make it as hard as possible for women to vote, if they can stop as many women from voting as possible, if, like, let's say if they could repeal the 19th Amendment, what they determined was conservatives would never lose another election. So that's what it is. It's like they are trying to just cut out huge cross sections of people and say, if we can make it so just as many privileged white men as possible can vote, that's right, is the most unconstitutional, un-American shit ever. I've talked about this before. Who brought the bill to stop all voter suppression and stop all gerrymandering? Democrats. Who voted against it by and large? Republicans. Like, what kind of democracy are we running when you want to suppress American citizens from voting? It's delusional. It's antithetical to the idea of democracy. We are in a weird hellscape. I've got to get, oh my God, I have the funniest video. I might get a copyright violation, but I just think this is such a good teaching tool. So I love Jordan Klepper. I think, like, yes, he does a lot of funny stuff on The Daily Show, but they're also great learning moments. Jordan Klepper went on a university campus, I believe in Texas, and started being like, talking about Charlie Kirk to these young idiots. So if you're ever wondering, like, how people can support how these 18-year-old idiots support Charlie Kirk and don't understand that he's like some creepy old man lurking on a college campus, telling them actual lies, mathematical lies, factual lies, like, I've never seen a better illustration of a creepy old man indoctrinating people and them not being able to get it. You're going to die. This is the best clip I've ever seen in my life.
Everybody knows who Charlie Kirk is. If they don't know the name, they know the face.
And he's reaching millions with these pearls of wisdom.
White, college, indoctrinated women will ruin America if we let them. Most college degrees are meaningless, and most of you guys are being totally scammed by being here. I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
What makes Charlie Kirk so effective on a campus like this?
I just think it's all the research he's done, all the statistics that he has to back it up.
I think he just really knows his stuff.
The guy's consistent.
He's consistent.
He's like TikTok. I love TikTok. 3 months ago, I hate TikTok.
Yep.
So his consistency can flip here and there. But even if Charlie Kirk doesn't seem to believe the things he says, for some students, he was the only one speaking to their concerns.
A couple of years ago, I just started finding more people because I got just so tired of this not being able to speak my mind. So I needed to find people that actually knew how to say things to a I'm forgetting the words. I'm sorry.
You needed somebody to be more articulate for you.
Yes, because you see me like right now, I can't put words together. So
you're looking for somebody to put words in your mouth.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, not like that exactly.
That's what I was doing right there.
Yes.
What I'm talking about is what Charlie Kirk kind of does inside.
Yes.
Yes, he puts the words in your mouth.
Yeah, making enough sense for me so I memorize what he says, then I can freely say it to...
Exactly. So basically, his words become your own.
Yes.
His thoughts become your own.
It's awesome.
And some of those beautifully crafted words play great as clickbait online.
What is a woman? What is a woman? It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
He always asks liberals, like, what is a woman?
Yeah, we literally saw like 5 or 10 minutes ago.
You got to see alive what is a woman.
Finally, he was like, all right, give me your definition. What is a woman?
How do you define what a woman is?
I think it's just genetics.
I go with like a woman is somebody who sues Donald Trump for sexual assault. 31-year-old Kirk and the billionaires who fund him are successfully influencing young minds and making those young minds skeptical of anyone else trying to influence young minds.
Beto O'Rourke has been to campus probably like 5 times, and I don't know why he's still coming here.
Feels like groomers.
Yes.
You have somebody like Beto O'Rourke, you have like...
I was disappointed at this woman. This is why, and I'm saying this, I will not fight women online. I will not debate women. If you're this lost and this dumb, I encourage you to look into statistics, primary and secondary resources, court documents of why no conservatives support you in any way. But this was like the scariest part for me of the whole thing. Hold on, I'm just going to start over. Listen to this lost soul.
Those young minds skeptical of anyone else trying to influence young minds.
Beto O'Rourke has been to campus probably like 5 times, and I don't know why he's still coming here.
Feels like groomers.
Yes.
You have somebody like Beto O'Rourke, you have like an adult man come to a campus trying to groom somebody around his own political ideology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That shouldn't happen at all.
No, it shouldn't.
That's why it's refreshing to have somebody like Charlie Kirk come to campus and bring his 30-year-old mentality here to shape the minds of tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Everybody knows who Charlie Kirk is. If they don't know.
Did you see she had a Jesus shirt on? Like, I'm sorry, do you have a problem with groomers? Hold on. I'm going somewhere. Like, you have a problem with people grooming young children and essaying them? You do, whilst wearing a shirt that is decidedly evangelical and Christian? Yeah, I can't hold on, I gotta show you guys another thing. But can you imagine, like, they don't even realize, they're like, yeah, Beto O'Rourke is some weirdo who's grooming us. You mean all of the Republicans and the pastors and the creepy people that are actually mathematically, statistically lying to you, that are changing curriculum so you become more uneducated? Those people aren't grooming you. Those people aren't lying to you. But the people that are just trying to give you factual information are grooming you. Nailed it. Like, it couldn't possibly be that you guys are the dumbest people on the planet. You guys nailed it. Like, what could ever go wrong? Hold on, I just need to remember. I have this second. Okay, here we go. This is just a recent news clip. Like, that girl with a Jesus t-shirt on said Beto O'Rourke kept showing up on the to campus in Texas and grooming them. Here's an actual groomer. I know this is gonna come as a shock. It's a youth pastor. It's a MAGA youth pastor.
Esther facing dozens of charges now, accused of sexually abusing students in his congregation. So far, 6 men have come forward alleging that Thomas Pinkerton abused them between 2006 and 2010.
Police say 7 young men came forward to report Pinkerton's alleged abuse.
Facing 24 counts related to child sexual abuse offenses.
52-year-old Thomas Pinkerton will remain in jail without bond.
He was a youth pastor at Central Christian Church, happening at the church and inside his home.
Pinkerton is accused of kissing the boys ranging in age from 12 to 17 at the time of their abuse, telling them, quote, "This is how Jesus greeted his disciples," end quote.
Including massages, hand-holding, hugging, wrestling, and kissing.
This is how Jesus treated his disciples, end quote. So someone needs to, that whatever 18-year-old idiot woman was like, Beto O'Rourke keeps showing up here trying to groom people. This is actual grooming in the name of Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. Let's just keep going here. I just want to make sure we really just take it in. I could spend 10 hours going through just these. There's several accounts, I want you to know, on X that just track conservative evangelical pastors who are caught for essaying children, and they never run out of content. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, conservative men grooming, raping, and essaying children and women.
Massages,
So I guess, wait, let me just close this by saying, so just to close, that girl implied Beto O'Rourke was a groomer. So whenever these allegations and the indictment comes out about Beto O'Rourke, then we can address that. And trust me, the left will hold him accountable instantly. If by grooming you mean telling you facts that are incongruent with the delusional, idiotic things that your dumb parents taught you, then I mean, maybe it's hard to learn the truth about things, but this is what grooming is.
Jesus greeted his disciples, end quote.
Including massages, hand-holding, hugging, wrestling, and kissing.
Many of them also reported Pinkerton would bring them to his home, give them massages, and touch their genitals. He also has been a pastor in at least 5 states and ran mission trips to other countries.
Right now, another investigation is underway in Georgia for similar accusations.
He's been in Georgia. He has a family in Georgia, a wife and 3 children. He's actually a member of pastor of a church down in Georgia.
In addition to the 6 victims here in Maryland, another victim has come forward in Georgia, and police worry there may be more.
Oh, yeah, that's grooming and SA. That's what you just heard there. I just want to be clear. And if you hear, this is for insecure MAGA men whose brains don't work. I know, especially when you're young and you're trying to trick women into having sex with you, the best way to get women to want to be naked with you is to just be a good person. To just be vulnerable and honest about your hopes, dreams, and fears, and just in your most vulnerable form connect with a woman, and then she might see the real you and respect you for doing that. If you think that what Charlie Kirk says is that women shouldn't vote and they're dumb and that shit makes sense to you, and you're sitting on a college campus saying Charlie Kirk's right, I'm here to inform you, Charlie Kirk is one of the dumbest people I've ever heard speak. None of that is factual information. Yelling "what is a woman" has nothing to do with science, has nothing to do with math, has nothing to do with logic, has nothing to do with reason. That's just an insecure white male who's like, I feel like I'm losing something. I'm losing my piece of the pie. Every time we have to give equity and equality to women, I feel like I'm losing something. We have to stop poor people from being educated, or I might lose more. It's just deep insecurity. I promise you, the best way forward is to just be honest and vulnerable with women and be secure in who you are. You don't need to lie. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to obfuscate. You don't need to try to subjugate women. It's just a bad look. Just be honest and say, hey, I feel a little bit insecure. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I feel lost in this world. That shit resonates with women. If a man says that to me, I don't care what they look like. I love them. Thank you for your honesty. I also feel that way, and we can move forward together in a friendship. Like, that's all you have to do is just be like, I'm lost and confused and alone. That's it. Just be vulnerable. It's not like the patriarchy teaching you like the best thing we can do is just be giant idiots and punch down on them, and whenever we feel like they're learning more than us, we shouldn't learn anything. We should just stop them from learning. It's not working mathematically, statistically. Women are more educated than men now, and you guys just seem desperately insecure about it. So my advice is, if you are a young man who would like to have sex with a woman, just be vulnerable. Just be honest and vulnerable. and build a real relationship based on honesty and vulnerability. And it may not work out the first time or the second time, but once you practice that, that is the way forward. Just be whoever you are, and you're going to find someone who appreciates you for that. I promise you. It's okay to just be like, hey, I am completely insecure. I can barely look at myself in the mirror. I have body dysmorphia. And then a woman's going to be like, me too. Great. Oh, you hate yourself too? Great. Like, they're going to love it. I promise you. Like, stop trying to dominate and honestly, you guys are idiots. So when you try to be like, oh, I know more than you, the most important part is to actually know something. If you're going to go out, like I'm on live stream being like, I know more than insecure MAGA men. I actually do. The key is, if you're trying to impart knowledge to someone, is not, I heard Charlie Kirk say something or I heard Donald Trump say something, right? The man is rotting inside out and can't do math. And you're like, well, Donald Trump said it, so I'm here to tell women I know more than them. Yeah, that's... God, what could go wrong? It's so hard to see how all these things could go wrong for people. I mean, just so strange. I need to do my section on racism. I told someone a couple hours ago I had a section on racism I was going to do. I just want to say this. I said this kind of like when someone in the comments was saying, like, are you going to talk about Kilmar Abrego Garcia? I did. When he was informed he could be deported to Uganda, I talked about it. Like, this is when you are informed of your constitutional and legal rights on U.S. soil, right? And you start exercising them, your right to a trial, your right to an attorney, your right to exist outside of U.S. custody, all of these things. Donald Trump is no liking any of this because he has no leg to stand on in this case. So he snatched up Kilmar Abrego Garcia and put him back into custody. This is 3 days after a federal judge released him from custody. It's like insane. And by the way, I just need to say, he has an ankle tracker on. Like, it's not like he's gonna escape somewhere, which, by the way, the point is to deport him. So if he did want to leave the country, that's what they allegedly want, is him to leave the country. So it's super weird. You need an ankle tracker on him, and now you need to put him back into a concentration camp. You're arguing he needs to leave the country, but you don't want him to leave the country. Make it make sense. This is his lawyer this morning speaking about it.
There was no need for them to take him into ICE detention. He was already on electronic monitoring from the U.S. Marshal Service and basically on house arrest. The only reason that they've chosen to take him into detention is to punish him. Yes. To punish him for exercising his constitutional rights. His constitutional right to fight back against being illegally deported to El Salvador. His constitutional right to speak up through his court filings on the torture and treatment that he received in El Salvador at the direct request of our government. His constitutional right not to allow his arm to be twisted to take a guilty plea if he doesn't want to. His constitutional right to exercise his right to a jury trial on his criminal proceedings if he so chooses. And his constitutional right and his right under the Bail Reform Act to leave the prison and come home to his family. He's being punished for exercising those rights. There was no need for them to take him into...
Absolutely. And I do just want you guys to know, and I'm going to have to look up the actual expose, but there's a Bulwark article called What Do We Owe Andrew? Remember Andrew, the gay makeup artist that was tortured alongside Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who had entered the United States. I'm not talking about Kilmar. I'm talking about Andrew now. He entered the United States completely legally. He was deported to the same torture chamber concentration camps, they quote, as Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He was, I'm not going to get into, I think I should do my own whole thing, but was essayed. All sorts of horrible things happened there. There was a article released by, I believe, the Washington Post, where they interviewed a bunch of people that, that Trump had wrongfully sent there who were deported back to Venezuela. And multiple of those people are reporting that they were sexually assaulted, beaten, tormented, starved, terrorized. And this article the Bulwark put out on August 6th is called "What Do We Owe Andrew?" Understand, the reason Trump's mad is because Kilmar Abrego Garcia didn't just go back where he's from. He's here fighting, right? We owe a bunch more people who were just finally left the El Salvadorian concentration camp and were deported back to Venezuela, who were tortured, raped, beaten, starved. Also, horrific. This is a concentration camp where people have exited with parts of their brain missing. I know that because I can read. And honestly, all of those people should sue us too. Our tax dollars. How much do you owe someone who's been raped, beaten, tortured within an inch of their life, who was in the United States legally? I don't know. You tell me. I hope they do sue. It's just crazy. Like, it's crazy. And that's the thing. Like, if you're in these comments defending Trump, then you just don't know the math. You don't know how much money he's costing us. Every illegal firing of a federal employee, we have to pay out. You're just too dumb to know what's happening. Elon Musk saved us $0.00. He cost us billions of dollars with the Doge thing. Like, you just don't know that. And it's day 250, and Trump's first 100 days in the presidency had spent $200 billion more than Biden. Like, you have no idea what's going on in the government because you can't read, you can't do math, you can't use the supercomputer and find any of this information. All Trump's doing is wasting money and hurting people. Now, I want to point this out because, I love Brian Baez. I always play his videos, but this was one where I was like, this is like one of his true genius moments. Like, I saw this and his breakdown of what I promised everyone I had a whole section of racism in America that I wanted to talk about. I love Brian Baez. It's at Mentally Divine if you want to follow him on TikTok. But I saw this morning. I was like, man, nailed it. Like, this is I feel like a college professor would look at this picture and give this talk.
24 million people saw this photo, but nobody broke it down to see what it really meant. The post was posted on ICE San Diego's Twitter page, and it says, ICE San Diego arrested Diego Hernandez, 42, an illegal alien from Mexico with multiple convictions for DUI and repeated illegal re-entry into the U.S. He chose to break our laws again and again. He will remain in ICE custody pending removal because public safety comes first. First, let me tell you that the optics of this is on purpose and propaganda. In this photo, you're making a racially ambiguous, potentially indigenous person look unkempt, disheveled, and somebody that you need to civilize. They made him take a photo mid-blink under harsh white office lights with his shoe fucking coming undone. All of that is to strip this person from their humanity and to make them look like savages that we need to civilize so that it can justify us treating them in the way that we treat them, ripping them apart from their families, throwing them in jails, deporting them to countries that they don't even fucking know because they're savages, they're animals. Not to mention the icing on the cake where this man is wearing a South Park shirt with Cartman, who's a character from South Park, that's saying, whatever, I do what I want, continuing to further the narrative that this person is a criminal and they will continue to have a defiant spirit to our laws and that they do not belong. Then you have this man standing next to an officer that seems to be a white woman that's turned around and taller than him. Height in Western culture and Western civilization has always been tied to masculinity, so making this man look small, particularly smaller next to a woman, adds to that gender role interplay of this is an other culture and we have to vilify them because they're different than us. Interestingly enough, while they're emasculating this man, they're also objectifying white women. Basically saying you can be the good little soldiers and do some of the hard work that the men do, but you will take no credit because your ass will be turned around and we will objectify you. Because what they're really saying is, bitch, you really shouldn't be working with us in the first place. So you will take this photo, but you will turn around and we will look at that ass. Because the reality is your ass should be at home taking care of the kids and cooking my motherfucking meal. This is America. This is
it. Were truer words ever effing spoken? Truly. Truly. And wait, hold on. I want to go into something. This is one of my favorite posts. Oh, yeah. Wait, someone said, who is that? I think we posted it. It's at mental. Here, I can show you this. Because it's so important. It's when we talk about issues of racism, like I take this very seriously. Brian Baez, I am in this press corps with him, and I get to sit in Zoom meetings and listen to him speak, and he's brilliant. He's a gay black man. It's at Mentally Divine. He's on TikTok too. He's absolutely brilliant. The way he puts lines of logic together and correctly analyzes racism and bigotry in America. Well, all sorts of things, not just these issues, but so many things. Look, I know I am getting texts from Matt. I'm talking about racism in America. I know that I am going to talk about this right now, and then we can deal with that later. So I understand. I care about Matt. Matt is I understand what's going on. Everyone's okay. Everyone's okay. So I'm talking about racism in America, right? People who are actually not okay. I know Matt is okay right now. I know that for a fact. I know because he's texting me. So this is I'm talking about racism in America and people who are not okay. Yeah. What are you these are people who are in concentration camps and are being used as racist tropes, racist and misogynist tropes. I know Matt's fine because he's texting me over and over. He's fine. So, and I just want you to say, listen, if you're protesting in DC, I support you 110%. I love Matt. I love everything Matt does. There are people that we need to amplify their voices and focus on that. He's online right now. I know. So I'm just a little bit confused why, what you're telling me right now. Everyone's okay, but you know who's not okay? Black and brown people in America. Yeah. Which this video is one of my, and I don't know, is this a TikTok video? I don't think it is a TikTok, because I was going to say we should all follow this woman. I don't know, but I just thought this was such a great line of logic and is so true.
What's happening with Target and what's happening with Cracker Barrel, them changing their logo, is they're finding out there aren't enough white dollars to keep this afloat. Point blank period. Point blank period. What's happening with all these hospitals that are going to have to shut down, they're realizing there aren't enough white doctors to keep departments open. Real simple. You're going to find that with engineering. You're going to find that with scientists. You're going to find that out with a whole bunch of other professions that a lot of immigrants are in, or a lot of minorities, meaning black people, brown people, Latino people, gay people are in, even women. There aren't enough white, straight men to keep these positions afloat. There aren't enough white, straight men that have enough dollars to keep all this going, because that's who ultimately they want to give everything back to. So these corporations and these companies are finding out the hard way your company or your small business actually stayed open because of the minority dollar or the education and drive.
I think Matt's fine. I think he's live with Jolly. I think everyone should just go to that live. Thank you, Terry, for the $5 on Cash App. Thank you for sharing your brilliance. I think everyone should just focus on what's important there, and I'll be live again on Wednesday.